Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Antony Carpen here at Limoncello's on Mill Road in Cambridge. I'm in Romsey Ward with one of the local councillors here, Cllr Baigent, who is standing to be the Police and Crime Commissioner for Cambridgeshire for the Labour Party. And I'm going to be doing an interview with him now. So I shall move over to Cllr Baigent.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you again, as always. Now, first of all, for people who don't know, what are the roles and responsibilities of the Police and Crime Commissioner for here in Cambridgeshire and also in Peterborough?
Right. The main role of the Police and Crime Commissioner is to set the priorities for policing with it throughout the police service in Cambridgeshire and Peterborough. They do this by liaising with the Chief Constable, but finally it is the Police and Crime Commissioner's role. They also set the budget in liaison with the Chief Constable. And again, that is a liaison, but it is the PCC's role. And thirdly, they hold the Chief Constable to account for the priorities and for the budget and for running the police service throughout this area.
First of all, how do the formal structures hold you accountable in terms of the local councillors? And then how are you going to make yourself available to the local communities here in Cambridgeshire and Peterborough? Well,
there's two things to this. In one way, the PCC is not accountable. They are elected by the people and therefore they have a mandate to organise and run and set the priorities, budget and hold the Chief Constable to account. So they're not actually directly accountable again until the ballot box in 4 years' time. Unless, of course, they do something radically wrong and in that case they can be removed from office. But their policies are the policies. Now, currently there is a police liaison panel which can question the PCC, but these questions do not have to be answered and they are not in any way like a City Council scrutiny committee. Now, it is my intention to involve the liaison panel a great deal more in the decisions made by the PCC. I think I want to use them as a far more consultative group to work with them to look at what people want, because they are the representatives of the people. More importantly to me, or as importantly to me, I have campaigned throughout the county. I have visited towns, villages and cities throughout this county of ours, and I've learnt a great deal as I go round. And that's how I intend to run the PCC's job. I will continue to meet with people, continue to talk to them, continue to listen to their ideas, their complaints, their worries, and the way that they praise the police so frequently. One of the things that's come right out of all this consultation that's gone on is that the public want to see more police officers. Now, I pledge to be able to do that. I am going to make sure there is a far greater police profile, police presence on the streets of Cambridgeshire, Peterborough and the city of Cambridge. This is obviously a problem for people that they're not seeing the police service, and I think that they are right in saying that. Police presence is important, and I have got some really good ideas that I'm working on at the moment, some cost savings that can be made to actually put police constables on the beat. So that's one of my intentions, and that's come from the consultation. I find that as a councillor, I was elected because I listened to people and because they trusted me to do my very best to get the things that they were asking for. Now, you can't always guarantee to do everything, but you can guarantee to do your very best. And that's what I always do for people, and that's what I've done ever since I've been a city councillor. That's what my whole background is. I come from a background. My father was a police officer. I became a firefighter to help people, to work with society, to make society better. And then when I retired, I went to university and got some academic qualifications, a degree in sociology, a PhD in uniform public service cultures, and then I wrote a public service degree at Cllr Baigent, with a prime intention of improving the type of person that joins uniform public services, in particular the police. And I lectured for 7 years there on policing.
Now, often in the media, we see PCSOs derided as not being the real thing. Yet, when we speak to communities, we get a very, very different feel. I wondered if you've got any comments on the importance of PCSOs and what they actually do and the difference they make in our communities.
Yeah, I have some very clear ideas about that. Police community support officers came on stream when I was lecturing on policing at Cllr Ruskin, I was immediately a firm advocate for their role. It's very important that the public feel that they can approach the police service, and often A, they can't find a police officer, and B, they're a bit hesitant about doing that. The great thing about the community support officer is that they are very much part of the community. They do not have the power of arrest, so they don't hold that inherent fear, so people don't have to walk away from them. And there is this concern by people about the power of arrest. The PCSO is that link between the police service and the public, and I think they're doing an absolutely splendid job, and I'm a firm advocate right from the start that this is the sort of way that policing should be. So they're not an ancillary, they're not a bolt-on, they are actually part of the police service.
One of the things that perhaps isn't reported in the media that much is how young people are primarily the victims of, in particular, violent crime. So I wonder what messages you've got for young people who may well be voting in this election for the first time.
Important thing that young people need to recognise, well, there's two things really. One of them is that they need to vote. They really do need to vote, and when people vote, then they draw politicians' attention, and that is enormously important. Now, with regards to fear of violence on the streets, then we need to be able to talk to students, we need to be able to talk to young people, we need to be able to talk to the people that come into our cities and towns in the evenings, particularly towards the weekend. We need to be able to be part of that. There needs to be a police presence so that people aren't afraid of the police service, so that they can come up to them and talk to them about things that have gone wrong. There's a whole plethora of things here that can improve police-community relationships. And right at the heart of everything I'm going to be doing is about improving police-community relationships. Now, that isn't to disempower the police service, it is to empower the public, and it is to empower the police at the same time by bringing them together so they can work together. And this isn't going to be at the core of everything that I do as Police and Crime Commissioner. What I've really learned from visiting villages is that people feel that they want to see a police presence, that they enjoy the opportunity to be able to talk to the police, and they feel that the police aren't involved in their village. The village is a different environment, and we need to understand. I'm a city dweller. I've spent most of my time living in London or Cambridge City, and now I am beginning to realise by visiting people, and this is key to my campaign, I suppose. That's why I have been visiting people. I've been out to Ramsey and talked to people there, and they want to hear about the police service, they want to hear about politics, but nobody's taking them that message. Now, if we live in an isolated world, then it's wrong. That's not how it should be. We should be visiting the village. This is not something that I'm just going to do during my campaign. This is something I really believe in, and this is something that I will follow through when I'm elected PCC.
Let's imagine you've just been elected PCC. What would the first 100 days of you in office look like? So what would be, let's say, your top 3 priorities that you would want to really hit the ground running with? Feel free to take your time.
I'm very clear about what my priorities are. At the core of everything that I'm going to do is going to be about meeting with the community. So my first 100 days will be spent in exactly doing that, listening to the people from a position then of substance rather than as a candidate, and taking police officers with me for them to listen to what people say. Now, from my time as a firefighter, I'm an immensely practical person. From my time as an academic, I am more thinking. I'm a researcher, I have research, so I will be treating those first 100 days in part as a research project to actually identify the things that we can steer the police towards, that I can help and encourage our police service to become more representative, more transparent, more open, more available to the public that they actually serve. So my 100 days, I'm not intending to come in with a big broom and sweep everything up and change the world. What I want to do is look, watch, observe, and then act.
You wrote the public services degree at Cllr Ruskin University, so I wondered if you could just give us some detail, in particular for those people who don't know about it, what it contains, why you did it, and what difference it's making in particular to the students who are studying it.
Yeah, indeed. When I carried out my PhD research on uniform public services, I noticed there were some elements of public servants' work that were not altogether wholly for the public. Some of it was self-serving, although public servants work enormously hard. Sometimes some of the things they do aren't directly to assist the public. So I thought that I'd write a degree that would produce the sort of student that would be more aware of the difficulties that they can become involved in through joining for example, police or fire service culture. I went to Cllr Baigent and asked for them if I could write the degree. They gave me permission to do that, and I wrote it, set it up, led the degree for 8 years. During that time, we had a lot of students come through, but mostly I was lecturing on policing, and I was trying to point out to them some of the pitfalls of being a police officer, also the advantages of being a police officer, how they could make a difference, how they could work with society, how they could actually... It wasn't only about racing around the streets in a car with a blue light flashing. Although that's quite appealing to a lot of people, that isn't what policing is really about. Policing is really about is helping people, is apprehending criminals and making the public feel safe. And it is about making the public feel safe that's so important. And as part of that, you need to be involved and talking to the public.
Just say to add, ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested in doing a public service qualification, Cambridge Regional College does a very interesting BTEC at levels 1, 2 and 3 in uniformed public services. It also does one that actually covers the administrative services as well. And then you've got obviously Cllr Baigent's degree at Anglia Ruskin. So if you look at the links below, they will take you to the qualification pages, so do have a look at those two institutions.
Yeah, that public service degree is delivered not only here in Cambridge, it's also delivered at Peterborough and in Harlow. So if you live in this area at all, the same degree is delivered in 3 locations at university level.
Okay. Cllr Baigent, thank you very much.
Thank you again.